Look what Kelce found. Are you awake yet?
Yeah.
Well, what's up, guys? It's Daniel in Houston from Arms Family Homestead, and we're cozied up by the heater this morning. We decided to hunt a little different spot. We're actually in our cabin at Mill Creek, and there's been a lot of deer activity in the area around the cabin, a lot of scrapes and rubs, and I've got a Tacticam Defend Series camera hung up here, just kind of aimed towards the cabin, and just in case, a trespasser sneaks in. However, it's just showing more pictures of deer than anything. A lot of deer activity around the cabin. And the wind was not in our favor to get in and hunt where we wanted to. So we decided to sneak in over here to the cabin, sit here for a few hours and see what strolls by. We've got a couple bucks in the area that Houston's after. We've got one old mature deer that's just ugly and won't score anything. If he comes by, I'll take a shot at him.
He'd probably score like 20.
He's a big old buck. Doesn't have a big rack, but we got a peek at him yesterday for the first time ever in person. But he just didn't get in close enough for us to get him on video or to get a shot at him. So we'll see if he shows up here this morning. Well, slow morning at the cabin. We saw 3 small bucks and 0 does. Kind of a, I don't know, strange morning, I guess. But when I said the reason I wanted to hunt at the cabin some was there was a lot of deer sign, a lot of buck sign. There's a lot. Check this out. So the back side of the cabin's right there. And right here in this edge of this little thicket, let's just see how many rubs I can spot standing in one spot. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can see 11 deer rubs just standing. Well, there's 12 deer rubs. I mean, they're just wearing out this little small brush over here. Oh, 13, 14, 15, infinity. Yeah, there's just so many. There's a reason. I'm betting there's a reason that Buck, the guy that we bought this piece of property from, had a tree stand hanging right here. Maybe 20 yards from the cabin. It's only about 9 feet up in the air, but it's probably been there for 15 years or more. But I would bet you he probably harvested some deer out of that tree stand sitting right here in the yard of the cabin. So Houston and I are headed out for the morning and just kind of driving around checking everything out. Got several of these Tacticam Defend series cameras set up, and actually caught one of the game wardens driving around this morning. That makes me feel very happy to know. I know we've had some issues in the past, recent issues as of like the past week of road hunters and stuff. So I'm going to do what I can to help add an extra layer of security around here, and hope all of our big bucks haven't been killed by road hunters. So dealing with criminals, the criminal mindset, it's just always been something that intrigued me. It's probably why I was in law enforcement for 14 years, but it's a cat and mouse game, and maybe now we're the hunters hunting the hunters. Don't slip up and go road hunting on our property, please. Morning, Charlie. What's up? Good talk. Well, this morning's hunt was not super successful, but I will say this: we saw 3 young bucks. We were not able to hunt in the shed blind where we wanted to be, and the wind was completely wrong. We just didn't want to risk it getting in there and spooking a big buck out. And when you know it, 2 or 3 pretty nice bucks show up, and several does. We didn't see a single doe this morning where we were at, but I think the rut's kind of starting to wind down. It's kind of trickling off. We're starting to see bucks moving, tolerating each other. Not necessarily moving together, but coming into the same areas and not just flat out hating each other. So the rut's starting to wind down a little bit. I don't think I'm going to be able to hunt this evening, but Houston's wanting to. So what I may do is go put him in the blind where we've been bow hunting a little bit. There's a doe over there that Houston has had his belly full of. Let's say that. Every time we've hunted over there, she pegs us no matter what. He's tried to get a shot at her with his bow a couple times, but she's just one of those old smart does that knows when something's not right. It's like she's got this sixth sense, and when we're there, she knows. When we're not there, she's there all the time on camera. But every time we've tried to set over there, she walks in, starts stomping her feet, blows at us, spooks off all the deer. And he said he's had enough of it. So I don't know, may take his crossbow or rifle. I don't know. It's up to him. I'll let him do whatever he wants to do if he decides to go hunt. And then, I don't know, maybe he'll get him a doe tonight. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Okay.
You don't need me to go, do you?
No, I'll be okay.
I mean, I think you can make it from here.
Yeah.
All right. Love you too, man. Kill a big girl.
Okay.
Making big steps this year, I guess. So he's hunted alone several times. He's harvested 1 deer by himself with a crossbow. And he's been bow hunting this spot with me several times. And every time we go over there, there's this one doe. This one doe that pegs us and stomps her foot and blows, scares all the deer off. And Houston's had some anger issues towards this doe. And he said if I can't get her close enough with a bow, I'm just taking a rifle. And he's tried to get a shot at her with a bow a couple different times, but it's tough to get her in there at 20 yards. She's so spooky. Probably just an old doe that's been around the woods a while. So he's going to try to harvest this doe tonight. And I've got a couple different people that are looking for some deer meat to put in the freezer. So we'll find somebody to donate this one to, more than likely. But I mean, he's got to get a deer first. We'll see. But I would venture to bet it's 2:45. He's getting in the blind by himself. I bet you by 4 o'clock we hear a gunshot. You know, some things just crawl under your skin, and you just can't stand it. You just can't tolerate stupidity in people. And it sucks that we live in the world we live in and it's that way. But the other day I shared a video with you guys about road hunters, poachers, just driving the road, shooting deer from the road. And I made a deal. I worked the deal with Tacticam, you know, a month or so ago. And they're sponsoring the channel and stuff. And I've used Tacticam game cameras for years. I love cellular game cameras. It's like been a game changer for me. I've had game cameras for I don't know how long, but when cellular game cameras came along, it changed the world for me. I can monitor all of my deer hunting properties and deer hunting, you know, areas from anywhere in the world. And then Tacticam released their Tacticam Defend series, and I was like, that makes sense to partner with our channel. And I put some up at the merch building. You guys saw that. And we've been monitoring, you know, the driveway coming in there. We brought the donkeys and alpacas home, but I had a camera up on the barn so I could watch what they were doing. And they're perfect for monitoring livestock and things. But as of lately, these cameras are what's up at Mill Creek, on the Mill Creek property, to watch my property, watch all of my gates, all of my entrances into the property. And the sad thing is you even have to put up cameras on the interior of your property because you just never know what people are going to do. And the last thing I want is a trespassing poacher to come onto my property, get hurt, and I end up getting sued. So, thanks to Tacticam Defend, I can monitor all of the places on my property, all of my separate properties. It's weird saying that. I still can't wrap my brain around saying that. But between our home property, the Mill Creek property, and the merch building, I can't be everywhere all at once. So, Tacticam Defend has been a godsend for me lately. These things are going up all over the place. They're just an amazing little camera. No Wi-Fi is needed. It's super simple. They run on cellular service. So you get the camera out of the box, you open it up, it's got a QR code, you scan the QR code, download the app. It's a very simple setup. Data plans start at like $5 a month. It's super reasonable. But I've caught some pretty interesting things in just the last month or so between the merch building and our Mill Creek property on camera already. So being able to have a camera at the front gate and at the back 40 gate and all the different places around my properties where I don't have Wi-Fi is a game changer for me. And if you have any sort of property you want to keep an eye on when you're not home and you don't have Wi-Fi especially, I highly recommend these Tacticam Defend series cameras. I mean, anything from home security, farm and ranch, camp, cabins. If you got a cabin, we've got our little cabin. I've got a camera up watching the cabin because you just never know who's going to want to try to come in, steal, destroy, tear up my stuff that I've worked hard for. I had no idea that we were going to be dealing with road hunters and poachers and all that kind of stuff when I made a deal with Tacticam. But as you can see, I mean, random cars at random times of the day, and I can set these things up to where they can monitor, look across our field where we're likely to have road hunters with a spotlight. So be sure to check them out. You can go to Tacticam.com. You can set these things up with a solar panel, rechargeable battery packs. I highly recommend a rechargeable battery pack. I run those in these and my cellular game cameras. They're just a game changer. You don't want to have to buy all the AA batteries all the time. But perfect way to monitor your rural properties when you're not around. Trust me. So while Houston's out hunting this evening, I wasn't able to go with him. I had a couple appointments. I had a meeting I had to make, and he's in the blind hunting, hopefully harvest a big doe or something. But every once in a while, it's rifle season. The Orange Army's out in full force, which we're part of the Orange Army. We deer hunt the same. But I have to keep a close watch on not my neighbors. There's a property line right here. There's the fence. It's not necessarily my neighbors I have to watch out for. I have great neighbors and I trust them on pretty much every piece of property that I own. But I also back up to the national park, which is a public hunting area. And a couple of years ago, I had two guys slip up and shoot at a deer that was just barely, it was off the park, but it was just barely, maybe 15 yards from Houston and I, and they come up, laid a gun across the fence, and boom. So every once in a while I have to drive around back here and just make sure guys are staying on the park. There's a fence, but not everyone's a legal, law-abiding, ethical hunter, and part of being a property owner is you kind of have to run a little bit of security sometimes. So having a security camera set up high in a tree where nobody can see it, I can't be here all the time. I can't watch my property boundaries all the time, but something like this sure can. And over the years I've had game cameras stolen off of my property and different things, so I just, even if I don't see anybody, people see me cruising my fence lines. I know that. And you know, over at Mill Creek, it's even worse because we have 2 county roads on 2 different property boundary lines, or county road frontage. And I know we get people road hunting there all the time. I mean, they've been caught in the last couple weeks doing it. And I don't want to make anybody confused, because I don't have a bit of problem with anyone hunting on public property. Public hunting access is amazing. I grew up hunting across that fence on the public hunting area. I fish on the public hunting area. We've caught a zillion sand bass out of the creek in the public hunting area. The problem is when people don't respect those boundaries and they cross the fence and they're on your property and you don't know it. You just got to keep a close watch out. So just for example, this is the gate where those guys leaned across and shot, and we were hunting just right up on top of this hill. And right now, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not, there's a hunter right there on the public hunting area. He's actually just kind of sitting down there looking over the creek, minding his own business, not hunting very far from the road, but at least he has an orange hat on. I don't know if he has an orange vest or not, but he's doing what he's supposed to. He's where he's supposed to be. Not everyone's like that, though. I kind of expected by now to have a text message from Houston and to have also heard a gunshot. I don't know, I guess his arch nemesis doe that he's after, apparently she hasn't came in, or we would have heard a gunshot by now. He did text me a little bit ago, and he saw a pretty decent little buck, it looked like. I don't know, he doesn't have the greatest phone to record video on, but he did get a couple video clips of him coming in. Well, I just said, I can't believe I hadn't heard a gunshot and I hadn't got a phone call from Houston. Made it in the house and it wasn't 2 minutes. And I heard boom. And Houston starts calling me about a minute later and said, might have forgot my earmuffs. So he said, I'll let him tell the story, but I think he got the doe he was after. I'm not sure. Kelce, Houston said he shot a deer. You want to go find a deer? You want to go look for it? Huh? You want to go find a deer? Yeah, you think you can find it? Oh, yeah. Come on, load up. Let's go help him. Let's go find the deer. Come on. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit hard for me as a dad that likes to video everything when it comes to my kids' hunting adventures. But also on the other side of that, I'm really proud of Houston for taking the initiative and want to get out there and learn and do things on his own and figure out how to go out and harvest deer on his own. And this was his first time ever setting alone with a rifle. I let him. Well, no, I take that back. He set during muzzleloader season. Him and Jacoby. That was two. Muzzleloader season's a little different. Rifle season, it's kind of like a rite of passage for hunters, I guess. Rifle season's where it's at, and this should be, hopefully if we find this doe, Houston's first ever rifle harvest, gun harvest, solo. He's got that one doe under his belt with his crossbow earlier in the season, but this will be his first one with a firearm. See a hunter. All right, what's the scoop? First off, is this your arch nemesis, the doe that
Yes.
you said if she blows, she goes?
She was doing that the whole time too.
Got that spooky old girl, did you?
Yeah. And so this deer popped out right there.
In the headlights?
No. She walked around like right there.
Yeah.
And then she went over to the lucky buck that I put out today, and she tasted it, and she was like, huh, what's that? Because she had never tasted it before. And then she kind of was moving around, and she looked at me a few times, and then she like blew and went into the timber right there, and she popped out right there.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, let me go back real fast. Whenever she was doing this, I forgot to load the gun. And then she went and
Did you pull the trigger and it go click?
no.
No, you remembered before you got that far.
I was fixing to pull it up, and I was fixing to like get up and do it, and then I realized, oh my gosh, I didn't load it. And then it started clicking whenever you load it, and she was going went into the timber, popped out right about there, and then she kind of went back into that trail right there.
Yeah.
And she went behind the right side of it, and I couldn't see her. And then another deer over here blew, and she kind of popped back out a little bit. And she was probably quartering at me like this. Or quartering away. And I shot like, hang on. I shot like right.
Aimed for the backside shoulder.
Yeah. But I had to zoom in on it. And that's about it, because as soon as I shot, shoot, I couldn't see her anymore, because it was almost timber completely.
Well, Kelce and I are chomping at the bit. We got to go see if we can find this deer.
Okay.
Okay. See if you can find blood spots or something.
So
Just got to figure out where she was standing when you shot, and then we'll work from looking for blood from there.
Yeah, because I think she kind of came around the corner right here. And then she kind of turned over a little bit like this. Like right in here somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's when I shot.
Okay.
Kelce, get me around here.
Kelce, here. We don't have a track for Kelce yet, but we'll see if we can figure out where she was standing, get on a blood trail, and we'll see if we can let Kelce go to work.
What?
Look what Kelce found. Kelce done pulled half the hair out of it. We hadn't even found a blood trail yet, Houston.
I thought I missed the deer.
I had taken Kelce off the leash because we couldn't find a drop of blood. And we're only about 75 yards away, and I looked up after about 10 minutes. I said, Houston, where's Kelce? Found her. She wasn't tracking the deer. She just went to the deer. You know how I found it?
Like that.
Hold it. I said, before I left the house, I said, I'm going to grab our thermal just so I can see what I can see if we can't find a blood trail.
Kelce.
And I walked up this trail. I know you guys can't even see what I'm talking about here, but I walked up this trail. Houston shot the deer about, maybe 40 yards that direction. And I walked out into this open field and was like, there's a deer right there. And Kelce had found it already. There you go, son. What? There's hey, you made a great shot. You hit her perfect.
I thought so.
But there is 0 blood trail.
No.
And your dog's going psycho.
How was she laying here dead when
I wish she would have at least barked and let us know she found a deer.
Yeah.
Because we were looking for a blood trail.
Yeah. I genuinely thought I missed that deer completely.
So we went back and reviewed the footage on the GoPro, and it was just too dark for the GoPro. Their low light stuff is horrible. It was well within legal shooting hours, but it was getting darker. And Houston was like, Dad, I can't figure out where I shot her. I don't know exactly where she was at.
Well, I thought I did.
And I said, well, let me go grab the thermal and we'll do some looking. And he was like, no, I think I missed. And we're working backwards from the deer, going back to the buggy. And there's actually a pretty decent blood trail now that we know where she went. But you thought she ran into the woods, and she just ran straight up the trail.
Yeah.
Because, hey, if we'd have known the right direction to go, see there? I mean, she's got a heck of a blood trail, and it would have been really easy to follow. So listen, just a learning experience. Remember what I said, when you shoot, there's more to it than just a shot. You've got to learn to figure out where she's standing before you shoot, what her reaction is, and follow after the shot to see what if she kicks or if she jumps and which way she turns and runs. And you thought she made a hard turn and went straight into the timber, when in reality she came right down the trail.
And you almost drove this way.
I almost drove in this way. I would have ran right over her almost, huh?
Yeah.
I decided to come in the back way because you said you shot her coming this way, so. All right, well, good job, Kelce, I guess.
Yeah.
By accident. We were not, I had her on the lead for a long time, and we weren't finding any blood or anything. I said, Houston, I'm just going to take her off this lead rope because we're not tracking a deer. And she's just been running around the woods looking for armadillos, or so we thought.
Yeah.
She went straight to the deer.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's the next morning, and I guess winter's on pause. It is beautiful out here. I was expecting it to be cold this morning. Not cold at all. But got Houston's little doe taken care of last night. We went ahead and took it to a local processor. That doe specifically is going to be going to an older couple. I don't know if that's the polite thing to say. A couple in their 70s. I had they reached out to me. They sent me an email probably, I don't know, three or 4 weeks ago. The husband had been in the hospital, had 13 stents put in his heart and arteries and all the things. And the doctors told him he shouldn't be eating beef anymore. He didn't need to eat beef, but deer meat was okay. Venison would be okay for him. And they don't have access to anywhere to hunt, and obviously he's probably not in the best health to be hunting. And when it said if we had an extra deer that Houston might harvest or Emily might harvest, that they would love to put one in their freezer. So that's where that one's going. They're just 30 miles from me. I've never met them before, but anyways, they just reached out through email. So I went and dropped it off at the processor. We're going to pay for full processing and all of that, and just give them a call when it's ready, and then go pick it up and see how they like it. I don't know if they typically eat deer or not, but if they don't, this may be a new avenue for him and his health journey. I don't know. So anyways, it's been donated to a local couple, and Houston, I couldn't be more proud of that kid. I know it wasn't the most epic hunt on video. I want to be there to video everything and his hunting adventures and all that stuff. But I respect the fact that he's gotten to an age where he wants to hunt alone. And that little spot sitting on the ground in a ground blind, I felt 100% safe with him hunting alone. He's 12 years old. He's been around firearms his whole life, and he knows how to safely use a weapon. So I just put a GoPro on top of his rifle and thought maybe if she was in there close, it would get a decent shot. And, the camera would get a decent shot of what was going on. And he videoed some with his phone as the deer were coming in and stuff, but the actual GoPro footage was almost unusable. But when we reviewed it after I went and, picked him up, it looked like GoPro's recording on top of the rifle, and it looks like it starts to dip right before he shot. And I said, "What happened, dude? Did you miss?" And we looked for blood for probably 20 minutes and never found a single drop of blood. And I tried to watch that video over and over, and I'm like, I can't figure out why the GoPro dipped right before the gunshot. But Houston was like, well, maybe I missed. Maybe I didn't hit her. And then Kelce, that's a goofy dog. I was going to use her to track the deer. I had her on her lead rope, and we were looking for blood. We wanted to find at least an idea of the general direction of where the deer went. Couldn't find anything. So finally I just took her off the leash because we were just standing in a small circle searching for blood spots that we never found. And Kelce disappeared for several minutes, and I was like, Houston, where's Kelce? Because she never runs off. She never goes far from us. She kind of makes an in and out loop. She just comes back to us every 30 seconds. I mean, you guys know Kelce. And Houston yelled for her, and it took her about 30 or 45 seconds to get to us. And I thought, man, that's just not normal. And sure enough, she found the deer and I think it's just I told Houston this was a perfect learning experience for him. It was a great way for him to learn, hey, sometimes during those low light conditions, sometimes it's best not to take a shot unless you know for sure, everything that's going on as to where the deer is at in reference, where it's located when you take the shot, and can you see after the shot into the timber and things like that. It was legal shooting hours when he shot, but down in the trees in the timber, it gets low light faster. And the GoPro video is horrible, obviously, but the doe was about probably 60 yards from him, and he thought she went one way when he shot, and she actually went straight down the trail. And so I thought, well, I'll just take the thermal and start scanning across the field and see if I can see anything at all. And sure enough, the deer was right there, and so was Kelce. She came back to us, and she ran straight back to that deer, and hey, you guys saw she was pulling all the hair out of the deer. So anyways, it was a successful day, a successful hunt for Houston. Put meat in the freezer for a needy couple that needed some venison to put in the freezer. So I think everyone's happy, and we're still on the hunt for the hunters. I don't know if I wouldn't even call them hunters. If you're a trespassing road hunter that's just shooting random deer, I'm not going to call you a hunter. You're not a true hunter. You're a criminal. Yeah, so now we're on to hunting criminals still. And who knows? Got multiple cameras set up all over the place around Mill Creek, just trying to keep a close watch on who's in the area, who's pulling in our gate. That's, there is a gate there, but between Weston and his buddy that lives in the trailer house, there's somebody in and out of there all the time, and they keep a pretty close watchful eye on that place. Weston, when he's around, he's been working out of state quite a bit, but his buddy's there all the time, and so I'm not so much worried about the trailer house and the equipment too much right now. But you never know, somebody might be casing the area and paying attention to at what vehicle's parked in the driveway at what time, and if they leave, here they come in. You just never know. So I put cameras all over the place. Thanks to Tacticam. I've used their game cameras for years, but this whole new Defend series of security cameras, I really like them, and I don't know. It gives me a peace of mind when I'm not in the area and I'm not there. I can't be everywhere all at once. So at least I know who's coming into our property and know what's going on there. And as a matter of fact, when Houston and I were leaving, the game warden pulled up in the drive right next to the driveway as we're pulling out, and I stopped and talked to him for a while and got his card so I can send him any information I may get with our camera situation over there. So they're keeping a close watch on criminals too. So anyways, guys, remember, do something today to make somebody smile, because you never know, it just might change the world. Guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys have a great day, and as always, we'll see you on the next video.